Hey guys, Bipolar Barbie here, and I wanted to share with you my experiences with my new laptop that I saved up and bought. It was like a big deal for me because I've never spent this much money on an item like ever in my life. I purchased the Microsoft Surface Laptop 3 and I was so excited about it. It was just really awesome. I was so excited to have a functioning laptop for like the first time in my life, especially coming up to edit my books. I have had nothing but like a negative experience with this device, and I think this information needs to be shared. It needs to get more traction than it currently has because it is a widespread issue. It is a fault with this device that Microsoft is yet not willing to admit, which is super annoying. So I wanted to share with you what happened and this issue that is widespread that I have seen hundreds of reports of. So make sure you share this video and hopefully it goes viral. Here we go. Here is my snazzy laptop. As you can see, it's in like perfect condition. I purchased this device like here, you know, it came in the box. I took it out of the box and I was super stoked with like the slick design and everything. And I'm not going to go like into the exact specifics of the device specs, although this is the Microsoft Laptop 3 13.5-inch model. It's the aluminium model. So this is what I have: 16 gig of RAM and I think maybe like 512 gigabytes of memory. So the first few times I open and use my device, I just sort of set it up like this. As you can see, it's got like a black screen, and I was only using it at the time. So I was only using this at the time for like Netflix basically. So I only really saw it on like a really like dark kind of screen. And every time I closed it, it's like it comes with this like pad. So I put that there because I didn't want the keyboard to scratch the screen. So, you know, I used it maybe for like a week. I probably only used it like 3 times. And it wasn't until I opened up to do some book editing on a white screen that I noticed, to my surprise, this. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but this hairline crack. Now, I was absolutely horrified. I was like, what the hell is going on with this device? It's super expensive. It costs like 5 times more than my car. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And then I was like, there is no way that I could have done this. Like, this device has not been dropped. As you can see, it's like in perfect condition. It had only like sat on my desk, opened and closed it. Every time I closed it, I put this back in there, and then I put it actually back into the box that it came in. So I was absolutely horrified. I immediately contacted Microsoft and in which I purchased this from, and it took them ages to get a response because this was around like Christmas and New Year's time. So Microsoft didn't contact me back after I followed their online process, which is really hard to make a complaint because they have an automated system, and whenever you say something like a crack that you need help with, they just immediately go, okay, it's like $750 to replace, and it just goes through the process of purchasing like a replacement screen and setting up a replacement option. Now, I ended up taking this back into the store under the advice of the store manager through a few emails and phone calls that we had. I brought it in, and it's a touchscreen as well. And like at first when I opened it up, they were like, well, what's wrong with it? Like, we can't actually see the crack. And then, you know, as I said, I opened it up and that's where you can see it. And it's sort of one of those things only you can see like in the right light. So because I had this for like a week, I was really... like, I didn't know exactly whether or not it was like this when I took it out of the box, which is a high possibility. And I was just so upset and distraught because I thought that, you know, I've worked in the tech industry before. I was like, this is going, you know, like, this is going to be one of those issues where they say it's physical damage and things are just not covered under physical damage, which is really, you know, just upsetting because I knew that there was no way in hell I had damaged this device whatsoever. As I have said, there is no evidence of physical damage on this device. It is like absolutely pristine. So you know, that sucked. So I brought it into the store and they said they would have to contact Microsoft because that's just the way that like these things work. They tried to contact Microsoft on my behalf. They didn't really get anywhere with Microsoft. I continued to contact Microsoft myself, and I got so many emails, like, well, not so many emails. I got one email back for them basically telling me the same thing. It's physical damage. There's nothing they can do about it. So I went on to their Microsoft website in the forum, and I posted about it in there because I had seen some replies in other social medias, like on Reddit, of people having the same issue. So there's been like 99 replies of people that have like responded to this, minus the one that was telling me, like, from Microsoft, telling me to reach out and giving me a list of their global numbers. I tried to call them. So I finally got a response when I called Microsoft. The initial consultant told me that it was physical damage, blah, 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 the same spiel. It wasn't going to be covered unless I had Microsoft Complete, which was an extra $400 that I didn't purchase, which was device insurance, and there was going to be an excess anyway if I tried to claim this under insurance. It was within the first 45 days. Like, this was in like the first 2 weeks that I'm still contacting them. Now, I got that response. I asked to escalate it to a manager because I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm the type of person that will not be pushed around. And I also know from working in the tech industry that if you just scream and cry like a little bitch and be like a Karen, then you will get what you want, because that's just the way customer service works. But I'm a reasonable person. I stayed really calm and I was like, I have an issue and I just want it fixed. I just have a cold, not coronavirus. So I tried to escalate it and they were like, yes, we'll escalate this for you. Great. So a few emails back and forth after that, and they eventually said, sorry, we can't escalate it because it's being rejected by the escalation team. Like, they weren't even willing to escalate the problem that I was having. So they're just trying to bully me out of really dealing with this issue. The store, because I had given the laptop back to the store at this point in time where I purchased it from, and they were also trying to contact Microsoft on my behalf, getting the same response. So I'd spoken to maybe like 5 different representatives from Microsoft at this point, and they were all giving me the same response. The store in which I purchased it from, the really lovely tech guy, was like, I'm not actually accepting this like from them because they're just being dicks about the whole process. They won't even look at the laptop itself. And we sent pictures, we wrote in the notes, like, everything. It was really only like the 3rd or 4th time I'd used this laptop that I noticed it, and there's like no physical damage. So we sent them the pictures. It's really hard to see. Like, as I said, you have to look at it from the right angle with the right, white lighting behind the screen to actually see it. So I'm going through this process. I'm still contacting Microsoft. I kept calling Microsoft, like every day I was calling them, getting a different consultant, getting the same response, but then also eventually getting them to try and escalate it. After a month, the escalations team was still rejecting it. At this point, I had seen so many reports online of this exact same issue, of people telling me that they had the same hairline fracture, almost in the same spot. There was people just like posting pictures like all over like the online forums on Reddit, as well as this one Microsoft thread of like people having the exact same issue. So at this point I'm like, this has to be a design flaw. And on the forum, like, people going through, it turns out they all have like the exact same model. Another picture online where like you can barely see the crack. They have like a similar crack. It is in a different point of the screen. But we were going through, people are asking if it's the aluminum or the Alicante model. Now, or the Alcantara model, I don't know how to pronounce it. But that is basically the model where like on the device they have, this bit is like a material, not aluminum. So I think that makes a difference because they don't seem to be having the issue. It also seems to be very common with like the 13.5-inch model. So, people are going through there. All of these people are having like the same issues. And the biggest issue I think we all had was trying to get it to Microsoft. Like, I think this person, I can't even see where the crack is on their screen as well, but they posted this picture. I think they've got a similar crack here somewhere. Oh, there it is on their screen. So they had a hairline crack as well. We're only like on page 4 of all the people here that are complaining about the same issue. Now, I feel like when you've got like 100 people already on your forum that are having the exact same issue, you'd want to like do something about it, but Microsoft is still not doing anything about it. Now, at this point, I'm like really, really furious with Microsoft. Here's another picture. You can't, again, see the crack because it's so tiny. There's like, you know, a person that has another hairline crack. And Microsoft's customer service is really just so appalling, which made everything so much worse. Now, one of the most annoying things is that this particular laptop is the third model. Now, the first model had this issue. Microsoft had actually accepted that they had a design flaw with that one. The first model had it, they fixed it with the second model, and now the third model has the same issue, and they're saying, no, it's not their issue. There's no way that this could happen, that their devices are like 100% guaranteed that there is no way they would have any form of physical damage without any interaction from the person that, you know, like you have to have damaged it. And I'm like on the phone going, you can't guarantee that there is like no damage. You can't guarantee that a new device that you've just brought out has no flaws whatsoever. Like, sure, maybe you've tested it, but it just like, it's happening. It's widespread. You can't ignore this, people. You just can't. So I'm going through all the process still. It's like 6 weeks have gone by and I'm just like absolutely furious with the way Microsoft is dealing with this. And also at this point, the store in which I purchased it from, the tech guy there is also furious with Microsoft because he's just like, this blows my mind. Legally, they have to at least assess the device. And they were refusing to even accept it, like to be sent to their service center for their tech guys to assess it, which is against Australian consumer law. I don't know what it is in other countries, but it's against Australian consumer law. So I had really had enough at this point. I decided to contact the Fair Trade Ombudsman because I was getting nowhere. That's what they're for. I contacted the Fair Trade Ombudsman and I got through to the Microsoft department, and the guy there was really, really helpful. And he's like, no, I believe you because this issue was so widespread with the first model. They fixed it with the second, and the third has the same issue. He's like, I haven't personally had anyone else complain about it yet, but it's such a new device. It's probably something that is going to happen, you know, very soon. They'll get more and more reports about it. So he escalates it, he sends it off to Microsoft and says they'll get in contact with me in 10 days. Now, the store in which I purchased it from had actually managed to get a hold of someone at Microsoft that said, we are investigating similar reports of reports of the same issue. So we'll get back to you at some point when we've finished our investigations, but we can't give you an ETA. It could be like months. So I'm like, I purchased this new device and I haven't been able to use it. Sorry, I'm ranting, but I was so pissed off. So he escalated the issue. He didn't get anything back. This guy's like following up every day for me. And he's like, I am pissed with Microsoft at this point for you. We're both just so frustrated as like the 100 people only on the Microsoft's own forum, like the one thread that I started. People were complaining of this. And there's a couple of articles that have been written about it. If you do scroll into the deep inner webs, it is all over Reddit. And finally, after like 15 days, Microsoft then gets in contact with me from the time the Ombudsman got in contact with them. Now, I had some like pretty infuriating emails from Microsoft, from these people at Microsoft. At first, they told me it's physical damage, it's not covered. Unfortunately, I would have to pay like the $750. And I was just like, no. Like, you're not getting the issue. And I sent them the links to everyone that's talking about it on the internet with the exact same issue. And I think at this point they realized that I was not going to let this go. Because I said, I'm just going to literally blast this on social media. And I am going to go to the media with this. Because, like, I'm just going to wreak havoc until you do something about this. Because at this point it's not just about me. It's about the principle of the whole situation. And, you know, you're bullying so many of your customers. Like, you are charging basically half the price of the device to get the screen fixed. Anyway, she finally comes back to me with a really patronizing response of like, hey, we understand that, you know, this happened maybe the second or third time you got your device. So as a goodwill gesture, we are, you know, open to replacing the device for you free of charge. And I'm like, okay. that's fine, but are you going to acknowledge that this is actually a design flaw with the product? Because I don't want this to happen again, and I think it's honestly something that would happen again. I think it will happen. I think this will happen again because this screen is really like flimsy in itself, the lid, and I think my crack happened in the right hand side because I open it like in the right hand corner, which obviously creates pressure. Now this screen is like it warps, like it's quite flexible. I'm not going to bend it, but I'd say what is happening is it's not something getting caught in here, although there is a little scratch there where this part of it has like rubbed, I guess. But I would say what happens is because this like warps so much, like you can actually bend that bit of the screen, something has to give between, like that's slightly stronger, but the screen itself is quite weak, and there is a crunching sound that happens when you do open and close the lid. So I'd say maybe they've, they guessed that people would open it from here. But the trouble is, like, there's not much of a lip there. It's pretty flat, so you sort of can't really open it easily from that point. So that's annoying. It has face recognition, which is a cool feature. So I said to her, like, how can you guarantee that this issue is not going to happen again? And she said, well, to guarantee that this issue doesn't happen again, I suggest that you purchase Microsoft Complete for like another $450 so that you will be covered by insurance if this issue happens again. So I'm just like, whoa, like, hold up. Like, you were still accusing me of this being my fault, and you were saying the only way, like, you're asking for more money from me and then to pay in excess if this issue happens again, which I'm sure it will because you're not doing anything to fix the design flaw with this issue. So I was just infuriated, and I was just like, I really just don't want to accept that option. At this point, I just want like a full refund because I haven't been able to use this device in 3 months. It's still, like, it was still at the store until yesterday. The only reason I brought it back home is because they are offering for me to send it back to them so that they will send me a new model via courier. She did make sure that this was the most difficult process possible. I told her it's at the store. I said, can the store send it back to you, and can I just exchange it through the store? She said, no, that's with another department because they're one of our partner stores, so I can't organize that for you. If you want that option, it can be done, but I'm going to have to transfer this case to another department so that then they can look at the issue and they can organize a replacement with the store, but that is going to take a few more weeks if you want to go through that process. I was like, no, just like, I just want this sorted as soon as possible. So she ended up including the Microsoft Complete insurance in the deal to get it exchanged, which, like, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's a satisfactory, like, like response outcome. I'm not like greedy or whatever, like, okay, that's fine. At least I get a working laptop that doesn't have a cracked screen. It's probably not a response that globally is like good because other people are having this issue. Other people are being bullied into this. Although there are reports of different Microsoft stores, like everyone has a different interaction with Microsoft on this issue. The majority, it's very poorly handled. Some people have walked into a store, said, hey, I have this issue, and they've gotten it replaced like straight away. So it's like everyone you speak to, like even everyone that I've spoken to at Microsoft has a different response. Some people admit that there is a problem, other people admit that they don't have a problem. I know someone today in the forum posted specifically that they did manage to get their device replaced by calling Microsoft over the phone like I did. They seem to have less resistance. So I'm hoping that in the future other people have less resistance. I guess what I would like Microsoft to like recall the product and fix the issue, or, like at least acknowledge that there is some form of fault and come up with like a single universal, like process to fix this so that everyone like gets the same resolution. The reason I really wanted to make this video is, I just think it's something that needs to be talked about. And I think this business in particular, Microsoft is just really not handling this. My experience has been terrible. And I wouldn't be so upset and frustrated and angry with them if they had just had some good customer service from the very beginning. And if they had a good customer service all the way up to the end of resolving my problem. To simply just bully me and hope that I just give up on the issue and fork over more money to fix an issue with their product that should not have been there in the beginning, I can't handle it. So if you like this video, if you know you have the same issue, please comment, please share this. I wish more people were talking about this issue. If you have a Microsoft product, you've had the same issue, then definitely put it in the comments, share this, report it to Microsoft, because you are not alone in this particular issue. And for anyone that's going to sit there and be like, oh, this is physical damage, like it's all your fault, just read the goddamn forums. Like just Google like what is happening, that this product and the screen crack, and you will see that I'm not alone, that we're not just people who are like careless with our devices, because as I showed you, there's no physical damage to this device. It has not been dropped, and it's been put back in the box and had the white thing put there. So, you know, I'm just pissed, and that's my rant for the day.